Yeah, we back. We knew we'd be back. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God. My name is K-Blao Hood X. Make sure you sign up for hoodx.com. It's video air nationwide, all that good stuff. So, today we're talking about the ground. The ground, all right? So, you study in outer space, astrological metaphysics, you kind of forget how the earth works. And that, like, you got to remember, even through subconsciously, even if you may not be trying to do it, you be subconsciously practicing witchcraft. When the stuff ain't regulated and you don't know what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? So, like, your intent, a lot of time on this planet, a lot of times it'll backfire you. Like, if you see the movie, it's called Wishmaster. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like an irritated genie. They say, be careful what you wish for. You know what I'm saying? There's a way that this planet works that you can find in Genesis 3 that reminds you, you know what I'm saying, that there's curses put on this planet. You know what I'm saying, for people who want to do things their way. So I'm saying, so you can do things your way. And matter of fact, this ground was cursed for your sake to do that. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times we used to say, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that, and then like you end up getting a total opposite of it. Or like they say try not to think of elephants, and the first thing you think of is elephants. So saying when you look at the Pisces symbol, moving in and out like that, you know what I'm saying? Or even when you look at the astrological symbol, it's two curves like this. So I'm saying the ground is kind of cursed in this regard. And then like once you come through the spiritual realm and you hit the earth, there's two different sets of things going on. You know what I'm saying? So that's why a lot of times people send you off on the spiritual aspect. You know what I'm saying? They forget the nature of the ground. And that the nature of this ground is designed to go against the people who want to do things their way. So, you know, when they say, you know, like, so if you go to Genesis 3, you know what I'm saying? This is after, you know what I'm saying? You know, it matters if you follow the astrological chart, it kind of walk you through, you know, the astrological chart kind of walks you through the book of Genesis. So you really shouldn't be doing this. You know what I'm saying? But I'm only kind of making it interesting because I know a lot of people who study this stuff is spiritual. You know what I'm saying? And they not going to listen to me sitting up here explaining the Bible unless I break it down from a metaphysical way. So I'm saying, so like, but if you follow the backwards procession of the equinox from Pisces all the way to Aries as it flows backwards, you actually see the book of Genesis in there. And then, like, you know what I'm saying? It starts in Pisces, which is the water world. You know what I'm saying? You look at Genesis 2, a lot of stuff in that is kind of like, you know, it's talking about streams and how the water, you know what I'm saying, is interacting with the planet. And then, you know, God take a piece of clay and plant it, and then there was man was formed, which is basically Aquarius. So I'm saying, you know, original instruction, you know what I'm saying, the water bearer who was here to take care of the earth, you know what I'm saying, so he was here to, you know, plow the earth, and, you know what I'm saying, it was a man. You look at the Aquarius, and it's a man. Keeps flowing backwards to the goat, so I'm saying, which is the Capricorn, which is like, you know, the one who stands above, you know, look down, you know what I'm saying, so he was there to rule the world, look down. At the same time, the goat mind go the opposite way, and then, like, so I'm saying, the sheep, you know, kind of follow the herd, whereas the goat kind of go the opposite way. Like, you give a goat the instructions. You see this a lot in Capricorn too. Like, you give them instruction. So I'm saying, and then they kind of go the opposite way just as soon as you tell them. So I'm saying, so like this is kind of what you get with, you know, Adam and Eve in the garden. You know what I'm saying, and then you get, you know what I'm saying, the snake come and interact with Eve. You know what I'm saying, and it's kind of like the Sagittarius, where you get the human kind of blended with the beast. You know what I'm saying, and it like, you know, if it's certain metaphysical breakdowns of the Bible as far as when they say that, like, you know, it was certain parts where they felt that the humans were unseen. You know what I'm saying, and that they were here, even though, you know, it's written, it says that they was made out of clay. You know what I'm saying, but the spirit of God was unseen. So I'm saying, so like when they basically bit into the apple, so I've read certain other places where they said they've had sex. So I'm saying, I've read a lot of different churches. It's up to you. I know you're a fucking metaphysics, so you're into that shit. You can figure that out on your own. I'm not here to discuss that. So I'm saying, but my dog's tweet. You know what I'm saying, so you know, so if you walk, you know what I'm saying, from, you know, you get to the Sagittarius section, that's kind of when you get, you know what I'm saying, Eve and, you know, man biting, you know what I'm saying, and mixing with the, you know, actually becoming in this world, getting locked into this world. You know what I'm saying? So then, like they tell you, you know what I'm saying, you bit the seed, so that means you die, you get Scorpio energy, so they was die, they got kicked out the garden. So I'm saying, obviously, you know what I'm saying, so they told her, friend, he said, oh, you know, if you eat this, you're going to die. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, Satan told me, you know, you're going to die. You're going to be able to see. You're going to be wise. You're going to be able to see the difference between good and evil. So I'm saying, so like, you kind of get the Scorpio energy here, you know, in the opposite, the urge of desiring wisdom, but actually dying. You know what I'm saying? In regards to that, you know what I'm saying? So you kind of get that, you know what I'm saying? So they actually died. So then you got God coming back into the garden under the Libra Act, you know, weighing judgment on them, so I'm saying, with the scales, telling them that they're getting kicked out of the garden. So I'm saying, which flows into Virgo energy, which is, I'm saying, the virginity which was lost, and I'm saying, them you get to the part where it say curse be the ground, and then like this is literally what we're talking about in the Virgo energy. So I'm saying, it's like curse be, the ground was cursed. So I'm saying, under the Virgo energy, and then like you had to eat from this ground. You know what I'm saying, and that like they bid into the world. So now curse be the ground for your sake. You know what I'm saying? For your sake, you want to indulge in the ground, you want to indulge in the earth, you want to come down here and have your way with the earth. Okay, we're gonna curse the whole ground for your sake. So saying, this is what you see in Genesis 3. So like, you get the Virgo verse. So saying, this is kind of what Virgo energy be under in a lot of times, and then like they try to do one thing under earth sign, mutable earth. They try to do things one way. They fuck with the culinary, they fuck with the food, shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Because the ground is cursed. So I'm saying, in this regard, mind you, I'm gonna get back to Genesis 3. So then as they keep going forward, you know what I'm saying, they get the clothes. You know what I'm saying? God clothes them. So they become a self-identity, which is a lot of Leo energy. You know what I'm saying? And mind you, like I've read metaphysical reports saying that, like I said, they was invisible, but when God gave them clothes right here, they actually clothed them with skin. Because it's some versions you'll actually see that. So like some people take that as an interpretation as that they were invisible prior to this point, but God clothed them with skin. It's up to you. It's a metaphysic. You do that you want. Like I said, I'm not here to discuss that. So now you got them as moving out into the wilderness as a family. Fourth house energy, which is Cancer, kind of like vagabonds, moving out with no clear direction, but as a family unit, still sticking together as a family. So saying fourth house shit. They were kicked out of the garden, and they went and had two twins, which is Gemini, which is Cain and Abel. They had two twins. They was beefing with each other, two-faced type shit. You got Cain, Abel, beefing with each other. Then so one of them was sacrificed, which is the Taurus energy. Cain killed Abel as a sacrifice. So basically throughout all this drama, Cain came out on top. You see what I'm saying? Which is basically the Aries energy. Which is cardinal energy. Mind you, I did a video on this before talking about Cain as a Cancer sign when we was weighing his emotions. You know what I'm saying? In this dynamic where it's still sticking with the cardinal energy, but we put it on the cardinal fire. So I'm saying, and then like Cain was the one who remained victorious out of this whole original, backwards procession of the astrological zodiac through the book of Genesis. So I'm saying, but Cain, as basically as an Aries, as a fire sign, who was the one who came out on top, who was the one that went into this world and actually began to father this planet cursed for their sake. Seth, who was the third child who came under Adam and Eve, they went and had a third child named Seth. He went on, to it's kind of like Ophinctus, you know what I'm saying? If you understand the time, Ophinctus, he was the one who actually came with the whole snake, who actually healed the planet, which is Seth, who was a whole different lineage. So I'm saying, but as far as like the original way this shit went down was Cain, came out victorious, and he was actually led, he was actually one who went out and led the original story of the Bible. So you get all this wrong instruction, and then like a lot of times people can't discern when they read the Bible. They don't understand that they showing you Cain, as with this cardinal energy to basically show you that like, Joe, this is the wrong way to do it, and that the ground is cursed for his sake. You know what I'm saying? So you think about, okay, what is sake? Sake is like, for like the reason, the purpose, but also for an abundance of purpose, for like basically you drunk off purpose, you drunk off of the reason, you know what I'm saying? So like even in Japan, you go to Japan, they got stuff called sake. It's actually spelled sake, S-A-K-E. It's basically like liquor, you know what I'm saying? You get drunk. So I'm saying, so like when you say the curse is ground for your sake, it's basically like, okay, you want to get drunk, you a spirit moving through heaven, but you came down here, you want to get drunk on earth, go ahead. You can have as much sex as you want. You say this is where you get free will. It's like, okay, you have as much sex as you want. Now you can drink as much as you want. You can eat whatever you want to eat. So as a matter of fact, you know what I'm saying, if you read what God did to the snake, man, you talking about Kundalini energy and the snake and the serpent. You know what I'm saying? It was a curse that got put on the snake, which actually represents, you know what I'm saying, wisdom in metaphysics. You know what I'm saying? So there was a curse not only put on the serpent, but it was also put on wisdom in regards to it says what does it say? Genesis 3, it says when the man saw the fruit of the tree, it was good and food and pleasing to the eye. It was also desirable, which I was saying about Scorpio. She desired something that's about to kill her. So I'm saying for gaining wisdom. So I'm saying she took some of it and ate it. She also gave her husband who with her and ate it. So then the eyes, both of them were open, and they realized that they were naked. Naked is Nakash. You know what I'm talking about? Nakash is the serpent. So you can look that up. It's the original Hebrew word for serpent is Nakash, which sounds a lot like naked. You look at the word snake. I'm saying it has the word naked. You know what I'm saying? You snaked with a D. It has the word naked in it. So I'm saying, so like the concept of, like I said, being naked, being unclothed with skin, self-identity, all these things was prior to that. So I'm saying, so like when they bit into this apple, they became, you know what I'm saying, more locked into this world. God cursed the ground for their sake. It's like, okay, you're no longer this spiritual energy that you claimed that you was. You know what I'm saying? When you go through the arc, which is, you know what I'm saying, the arc of the spiritual world, which you know what I'm saying, which I don't have the exact name yet, you know what I'm saying, but I actually call it Golan reverse, you know what I'm saying, which is basically like, that's a whole different topic, but like Golan was basically the spiritual system that was developed for the Levites, you know what I'm saying, for the, you know what I'm saying, but that ended up getting forsaken, you know what I'm saying, so that's when you get all these ghouls and like knockoff versions of exactly what we talk, like Cain, basically, like, you know what I'm saying, like people who have instruction but still plan to do things their own way. You know what I'm saying? So this is kind of what the earth do to you, and that you kind of curse in this way. And then like, you know, you a spiritual being, but you came down here, you know what I'm saying, and for one reason under the Aquarius energy, you know what I'm saying, to toil or work. But then somewhere along the line, your bloodline got distracted under some Pisces, Golanic, spiritual witchcraft energy, and now you indulging in the earth. And not only that, you getting drunk on the earth. Like for your sake, sake is liquor, it's drunk. So I'm saying this is how the ground is cursed. So when you talk about spirituality and stuff like this, and then you come in here trying to mix it and do your will on the earth like this, you get an irritated genie. You get like a, like I said, careful what you wish for. You get a wish master sitting there playing with your intentions. You know what I'm saying? That's why your intentions got to be pure. This is with Jesus Christ. This is where the understanding of Christ. This is where understanding of where the buck stops with spirituality and metaphysics, and where it starts with real light and directions to the sun being in the center of the galaxy, not being the earth being in the center of the galaxy, and spirits trying to come and have their will on the earth versus the sun being at the center, and it's stemming from kindness and being able to reflect throughout the earth, which is a beautiful thing if you see it from the right way and you don't have this perverted ass, you know, drunk ass energy the way you approach the earth. A lot of spiritualists approach this like they here to get drunk, like they drunk on their spirituality, they drunk on the metaphysics, they drunk on the fact that they in the Akashic records and outer space and all this stuff. And it's like, Joe, this ground is cursed for people who doing just exactly that. So pay attention to what it's telling you. And they're like, what did he tell the serpent? What did he tell the serpent? You dealing with wisdom, you dealing with snake energy, serpents. It says. So God come back. He says, I heard you in the garden. I was afraid because I was naked, so I hid. That's what Adam said. After he called to him, he said, who told you was naked? Have you eaten from the tree that I didn't command you not to eat? And the man said, yeah, the woman you put here with me, she gave me some fruit and I ate it. The Lord said, the woman, what is this you've done? She said, the serpent deceived me. So saying, she said, and I ate it. He said, so this is what God said to the serpent. He said, look, bro. He said, because you've done this, cursed are you above all livestock and all wild animals. You will crawl on your belly and you will eat dust all the days for the rest of your life. And I will put enmity between you and the woman and between your offspring and hers, and he will crush your head and you will strike his heel. So, you know what I'm saying, in the aspect of, you know what I'm saying, you do a lot of, I think Roman, Greek astrology, stuff like this. I mean, you know, studies. They'll tell you, you know, like they got the thing concept called Achilles heel, you know what I'm saying, which is a whole nother aspect. But like, the concept of, you know what I'm saying, there's a relationship between the woman, the snake, and wisdom. And mind you, there's enmity, meaning that like there's a great hatred for it. There's a great distance that the woman is going to naturally have for serpent type wisdom. And then like you look at a lot of these people who teach astrology, a lot of these people who teach metaphysics, these types of things. So saying the relationship with a woman, a lot of times, you know what I'm saying, don't be what it be on the surface. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of times they have like 2-3 different baby mamas, shit like this, or like they'll, you know what I'm saying, they don't know how to, like they sitting there giving you all this guru information when they whole relationships be fucked up, they goddamn self. You know what I'm saying? Their relationship with their kids be fucked up, like it be all fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Because the ground is cursed. For your sake, for you come down here just to actually do just that. You know what I'm saying? So you talking about Kundalini energy, stuff like that. Yo, the woman is basically gonna always look at a wise man like he a hypocrite, kind of like, you know what I'm saying, this is the way it's written. And the more wise you get, the more the woman is gonna see this as like, you know what I'm saying, enmity, and then like she's gonna try to want to get away from that. You know what I'm saying? So the serpent energy is not only trying to get wise, he's cursing the fact that he got to eat food, and then like, you know what I'm saying, it's like I say, you will eat dust all the days of your life. So I'm saying, so this ground is cursed. So you got the serpent energy, the Kundalini energy, you know what I'm saying, it's coiled at the bottom and it rises up to your third eye, all that. But what they're not telling you is that it's got a whole bunch of food sitting in the bottom of your gut, and you got to put it in there. You know what I'm saying? So you're never going to reach the type of spiritual enlightenment that you're trying to get because the ground is cursed. You got to eat this food because Adam and Eve ate from the tree, and now you locked into this world. And because you locked in this world, you have to eat food. This is the same thing when you look at Buddha. They were trying to, you know, meditate and stuff like this and try not to eat food and try to still reach, you know, that certain level of enlightenment. You know what I'm saying? And they still couldn't, you know what I'm saying, 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 they still could spread that like to the four corners of the world the same way Christ did. You know what I'm saying? And that like it's like, so you like this is where he discovered. Mind you, he didn't discover this till later on. But he came later. He said, man, you ain't got to fast. You ain't got to do nothing. Like he went through that whole process, just like a whole lot of these spiritual people is have to go through this whole process to realize that this is the same stuff that Christ was talking about from the beginning. And like Buddha went through the same thing. He had to go through the whole thing. He had to fast. He got to go sit out in the woods. He had to go all this, ignore his family, all this type of stuff to reach the same enlightenment that Christ got written down right in the same book. You see what I'm saying? So when you try to ignore the fact that you are here on earth, you know what I'm saying, you fast and stuff like this, you want to eat, stuff like this, like eventually it's going to come a point you're going to crack. You know what I'm saying? And that like the ground is cursed. You know what I'm saying? So the way that the woman, you know what I'm saying, has views that she sees the hypocrisy and it causes enmity between her and the man. You know what I'm saying? So between the man and the woman, the man who think he too wise, the man who think he too smart, the man who's too overindulgent in the spirituality, stuff like this. The woman is going to she going to want to get away from that serpent. You know what I'm saying? She going to kind of see the snake. She going to kind of see the serpent. You know what I'm saying? So the wisest men out here a lot of times have the most problems with a woman. You know what I'm saying? And this is the ground is cursed for this exact sake. You know what I'm saying? This is how the movie gonna go if you try to play with it. You know what I'm saying? And mind you, say you're gonna put a enmity between you and the woman, between your offspring and hers, and that he will crush your head and you will strike his heel. So this is also a prophecy for Jesus Christ. And that like he said, okay, you got your type of people, which is Cain. You know what I'm saying? You got your type of offspring, Cain, and then you got my type of offspring. You know what I'm saying? With Seth is basically going to eventually bring forward with Jesus Christ. You know what I'm saying? So he said, okay, basically like we got two types of offspring here. We got Satan's offspring, you know what I'm saying? And then we got God's offspring. You know what I'm saying? So God's offspring is actually going to strike at Satan's kids' heel, you know what I'm saying? Basically, that's like a stumbling. And they're like, this concept called stumbling. And they're like, you know what I'm saying? You look this up, it's a key word in the Bible talking about stumbling. And they're like, Christ has the ability to make people stumble. Like men who appear too wise, they stumble when you start talking about Christ. And you start going, oh, well, you still drinking, or you still smoking, or you still having sex outside of marriage, or you still, you know what I'm saying, the things that actually resonate inside a man's heart, you know what I'm saying, that he forgot because he didn't got drunk on this world. You know what I'm saying? So like a lot of times women can see this, you know what I'm saying, in men. You know what I'm saying? They have enmity toward that. They have a distance toward that. They have a hatred for that. You know what I'm saying? So like, a lot of these spiritual gurus and stuff like this, they be hypocrites in these regards. And they're like, they still tell you it's okay to have sex outside of marriage. They'll tell you that, that don't like Jesus. They'll tell you to ignore the teachings of Jesus. They'll tell you, it's okay to keep smoking. It's okay to keep drinking. They'll sit there and drink and smoke. You know what I'm saying? Why they still doing it? Mind you, everything I'm sitting there saying to you, there's nothing that I haven't been through myself. And, you know what I'm saying? In regards to like, mind you see me sitting smoking a cigar, sitting talking to you. You know what I'm saying? And they're like, the light bulb is on as far as me, and they're like, this is the difference between me and the other people who put out these types of messages. They're not even humble enough to put out these types of messages and show the things that they like. I done got on here and told y'all everything. I got IBS, fucking neck pain, shoulder pain, back pain, fucking hemorrhoids, all this stuff. And they're like, in regards to tell you that, like, yo, this is what come along when you study along with this stuff unregulated. It's dozens and dozens of black men, white men, Spanish men, all on the internet. So I'm saying smoking weed, so I'm saying drinking, having unregulated sex. You know what I'm saying? Literally drunk off this earth, drunk off this planet, drunk off this spirituality, and they trying to get you in under the same way. And the only thing that's going to save you is the understanding of not necessarily Jesus Christ, but why Jesus Christ fulfilled the prophecy. And that, like, you know what I'm saying? It's one thing not to believe in Jesus. You don't even have to believe he exists. But if you actually read the prophecy, understand the prophecy, understand how many prophecies he fulfilled, you understand like these types of curses and things like this, why he was able to come along and break these curses, because you actually had a vocabulary, because you actually understand what's going on with the planet. If you actually love the planet. Most people don't want to accept Jesus Christ, even though we're in 2021, they don't want to accept Jesus Christ as the ruler of this planet, because they still want to have their will and do what they want to do with the planet. And the ground is cursed for that sake, for them to do just that. So you allow them to take that, get drunk. Like this is the same thing. You go back to Ra, and they're mind you, it's the difference between ancient Egypt and Egypt. So you go back to Ra and you start talking about like the Netu leader. You know what I'm saying? You got the original spiritual guys, which is like Asar, Tehuti, Sakur, Mats, I believe Haru Kahuti, Sobek, Aset, Nut. You know what I'm saying? Like those are the original Kemetic deities. This, as time went on, you know what I'm saying, as different tribes, Greeks, Hebrews, you know what I'm saying, Romans, all the different type of people start moving in Egypt. So over time, ancient Egypt became Egypt. You know what I'm saying? So it was like a knockoff version of itself. You know what I'm saying? But the only reason this is allowed to happen is the same thing. You know what I'm saying? A city, a certain time period, like, you know what I'm saying? You're talking about the procession, the equinoxes. It's the age of Taurus. You know what I'm saying? The age of Taurus, basically, Ra got drunk. You know what I'm saying? Got drunk off their own spirituality and fell. You know what I'm saying? And slipped and fell over. You know what I'm saying? And like, mind you, this is happening right now. They say like the whore of Babylon is getting drunk on all the spirituality, all drunk on all of the kings of all of the men who basically sleeping with it for the earth for their own sake. You know what I'm saying? And they're like, okay, you want to come down here and indulge in this? Go right ahead. The ground is cursed for your sake, but you reap what you sow. You know what I'm saying? So, the Ra and the whore of Babylon walk into a bar together. You know what I'm saying? And they going in there to get drunk. So 9 times out of 10, when you run into these spiritual type of guru situations, you know what I'm saying? You got like Ra, you know what I'm saying, who's drunk off spirituality. Then you got the whore of Babylon, who's basically drunk off the earth. You know what I'm saying? They going into a bar to get drunk together. And you got Ra sitting there trying to explain all of the spiritual shit to a fucking whore who really ain't trying to hear that shit no way. You know what I'm saying? And like the whole dynamic is played out because they both sitting there drunk as hell. You know what I'm saying? Off of spirituality and off the earth. Ra and the whore of Babylon walk into a bar, and guess what they in there going to go do? Get drunk. This is 99% of the spiritual situations that you run into all the time. And that you wonder, you be like, okay, how the fuck he a spiritual guru, but he with somebody like that? Like, half the time, the motherfucking woman don't even know none of the spiritual systems that they own. So I'm saying, you sit down with that woman, they can't even stand that nigga. Like, you know what I'm saying? And you be like, well, how the fuck do he know all this information? And then, like, you know what I'm saying, the motherfucking child mother fucking hate his ass. Like, you know what I'm saying? He got fucking 3-4 different baby moms, kids all over the place, shit like this. You know what I'm saying? It be fucked up like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, the damn woman don't know none of this shit. He be hollering and screaming at her, trying to get her to pay attention. It be all fucked up. And then they be on the internet still trying to get love advice when they done got their heart broken like 4 or 5 different times. The ground is cursed for your sake to go through this exact experience because you want to do this shit on your way. You know what I'm saying? And then mind you, like, what God turned around, he told Adam, he said, look, he told the woman, he said, look, this is how I'm going to curse you. He said, I'm going to make pains in your childbearing very severe with painful labor, and you will give birth to children. You will desire to be with your husband, and he will rule over you. So then you got that. So now you got, a guy drunk off his own power. You know, that's talking about the Leo energy. And they're like drunk off rulership, drunk off false authority, drunk off worldly authority, ruling over a woman, giving totally instructions wrong, doing it his way instead of the God's way. You know what I'm saying? So he going to start playing with all type of stuff. He going to start saying, oh, well, we can read this book on relationships, and that's going to help us. Or we can learn about astrology, that's going to help us. Read about the net you need and the spirituality, how it was with our ancestors, that's going to help us. Or if we learn these crystals and do all this type of magic and stuff, that's going to help us. Or if we learn sex magic and get polygamy and have threesomes and we get another woman, that's going to help us. And like they sitting there trying all of this shit, and the woman sitting there looking at this, mind you, the one who's Earth, Mother Earth, they sitting there looking at it like, man, why is this like this? The ground is cursed for your sake because you don't want to do it your way. This is what you get when you do it your way. You know what I'm saying? Mind you, we ain't talking about the health issues, like talking about the vagus nerve, the red, the fucking diabetes, the strokes, all that type of shit that come along with the stress, the anxiety, the PTSD, the headaches, the migraines, the sleep, the insomnia, all that type of shit. You know what I'm saying? We ain't talking about that. So I'm saying, so then he turned to Adam. He said, Adam, because you listened to your wife and ate fruit from the tree, which I commanded you, you must not eat from, curses the ground because of you. Through painful toil, you will eat food from it and all the days of your life, and it will produce thorns and thistles for you, and you will eat the plants of the field by your sweat and your brow, and you will eat your food until you return to the ground, since from it you were taken, to dust you shall return. From dust you are, and to dust you shall return. You know what I'm saying? You want to play with the earth? Go ahead. That's where you're going to end up. So I'm saying, go ahead and do it your way. Have as much sex as you want, smoke as much as you want, drink as much as you want, go to Las Vegas, study whatever you want to study. You know what I'm saying? But just know that you reap what you sow, and you know what I'm saying? It's an irritated genie sitting there playing with that. You know what I'm saying? Curse be the ground for your sake. Get as drunk as you want. You know what I'm saying? That's what we're here for. You know what I'm saying? Do it your way. You know what I'm saying? This is what Cain did. Go back to Cain. Cain, what did Cain do? Cain, the reason why Cain didn't, you know what I'm saying? You got Cain and Abel trying to sacrifice to God. Cain didn't get his sacrifice taken. Abel did. Why is that? Because Abel was playing with me because it was blood? No. Because Cain tried to put up some vegetables up there off the ground, which was cursed. And God sitting there looking like, Joe, like, how you going to get something that I just cursed, and you going to try to get some vegetables and try to give it to me as a sacrifice? God didn't look just upon his sacrifice. He looked upon Cain and Cain's heart. And they're like, Cain doing it his way. It's like, Joe, look at your brother doing it according to how it was instructed. You doing it how you want to do it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not accepting, you know what I'm saying? I'm not accepting that sacrifice. A lot of times people get mad at God and they think God is ignoring them, when the reality of it is that God is telling you no because you're doing it on your way. It's like he said, he didn't look on just Cain's sacrifice. He looked on Cain and his sacrifice. So God looking at you and your sacrifice. He looking at you and the stuff you're doing. So saying, are you congruent? Are you doing it the way you was instructed to do it? Or are you doing it your way? And 99% of the time, like I said, Cain, he kind of like an Aries, he kind of cardinal. He doing it his way. And they're like, these are relative truths, not the actual instruction truth on how to go when you down here on this planet Earth. You got people going to Mars, mind you, and then you got Venus. Now, mind you, this is a whole different aspect. You talking about Mars is ruled. It's a Roman god. You know what I'm saying? This ain't even. This is like Aries is ruled by a Roman god of war. You know what I'm saying? So then you got Venus. Like when you think about where Earth is at, Earth is in between Mars, which is like this Roman crazy psychopath god of war, and then you got Venus on the other side, which is supposed to be about love. When in actuality, this planet is ruled by Lucifer, which is we talking about the son of the morning, which is you know what I'm saying, false light. False spirituality, fake wisdom, the serpent in the garden. You know what I'm saying? So you got the earth caught in between two dynamics. Same thing to control the stock market. You say fear and love. You got Mars ruling out of fear, and like you go look at Ra's al Ghul, go look at Batman Begins. You see they're trying to spread fear and panic and get your heart rate all up fast, panic, stuff like this, with no solution toward this, all relative truths under the cardinal energy. This is Mars, and then you got Venus, basically, you know what I'm saying, ruled by Lucifer, who is, you know what I'm saying, who think they have a full amount of light, but this is just the dawn of the light, which is just the beginning of the light. The same shit, Ra, getting drunk, you know what I'm saying. Didn't get the whole light when it's at 12 o'clock, pitch black, that the real full amount of light. So I'm saying, so like a lot of times you look at Venus is tactical. Like we go back to net second hold in the Kabbalah, something you talk about tactical energy. So I'm saying, so you talk about tactical love methods, not necessarily actual real love. You know what I'm saying? But it's like cliche love scenarios when you're dealing with Venus, and they're like, you know what I'm saying? Loving on their own terms, not unconditional love. It's like love if I can get this magic to work. It's love if I can get them to fall for the shit that you know, it's just not unconditional love. Like, you know what I'm saying? This is why a lot of times, you know what I'm saying, women break up over the most pettiest shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like a dude could, like, you know what I'm saying, they go through a guy's phone, they see him texting a girl, I love you. You know what I'm saying? She break up with him right there on the spot, and then find out 2-3 days later that was his cousin or it was his mom or some shit like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then like this type of Venus, this type of love, that ain't real love, man. Like, this is love. This is like witchcraft love. It's like I only love this planet if I can do what I want to do with it. But the ground is cursed, so every time the ground backfire on me, I'm just gonna move on to another piece of the ground. And this is what you get now all the time. You got all these people on the internet, fake friends, fake relationships, fake homies, fake love, fake likes, fake comments, fake shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? And they're like, these are people who literally been outcast from all these other parts of society. So then now you jump on the, you know, on the internet. So I'm saying now you got fake love between all of this type of dynamic going on. You know what I'm saying? When it's like, so what about your family? Like, you know what I'm saying? So you didn't sacrifice your actual family for a whole bunch of people on the actual internet. You know what I'm saying? For a bunch of people on the internet. That's what we're doing now because the ground ain't got that curse that we didn't jumped on the internet. Now it's okay. Forget the ground. Forget actual real interactions. We just gonna jump on the internet under the Vega mind and have digital interactions with people and because the ground is that cursed, but people still ain't realized that the ground is this curse, and you still sitting there playing with astrological, spiritual, untamed, unregulated spiritual energy out of books written in a whole nother language that's translated 4-5 different ways before you can even understand it. The Bible is written in like over 100 different languages, and no matter which language you read it in, it don't matter what language, you still gonna arrive to the same conclusions if you read it in that order and understand it like a book of Eli, and actually just read the stories and catch some morals of all the stories, like how Jesus did. That's how he was able to fulfill the prophecy. You got a whole bunch of people in the Old Testament walking around saying, this is the rule, this is how I go, this is how I go. And Jesus came, he said, man, I ain't talking about nothing. He went and just did all of it and actually fulfilled it. And actually, you know how many things you have to fulfill to actually be Christ? So they can't even count it, man. I've been reading the article, they were talking about like 55, 60 different things. They were trying to find 8 things. They were like, okay, well, it's 3 things that Christ did fulfill it. They started looking, they found 8. They was like, oh, well, just to fulfill those 8 prophecies alone was like 1 out of like 10 billion people could, you know what I'm saying, even do that. They kept looking, man. By the time they got done, it was like the article that I read, it was like 55 different things that they found that Christ had fulfilled from the Old Testament. He actually did it. He didn't sit around talking. He actually walked through like Back to the Future. Like you start from the book of Genesis, you're saying you go all the way to the book of Acts and walk backwards, just like the Jewish sign with the 2 things like this. Jesus walked you backwards through the whole. If people don't even notice, he fulfilled literally every prophecy that they spit. You know what I'm saying? So let's say you don't even believe Jesus is real. You see what I'm saying? If you don't understand which prophecies that they was written and these types of curses, which ones that he came back and broke, curses the ground for your sake. Go ahead and play with it because you don't even know what you're playing with. This is how it's written. You see what I'm saying? You talking about, like I said, about Golan and the Levites. This is the most powerful. This is the magic that ruled the world. You see what I'm saying? And they got forsaken to the point where Christ, that stuff don't even matter no more. But you still got Jews running around still practicing this type of witchcraft on golems. You know what I'm saying? What they call like Frankenstein, stuff like this, like that stuff's still out here. And what you think this is, what you think America is, this is like a whole like ghoul nation, like a whole knockoff version of what like originally this is like literally a forsaken nation of like, you know, all of the languages coming out of my mouth and everything. It's all like forsaken, forgotten about energy from like Golan, which is the The reversal process of what I'm describing, man, when you hit this planet, there's a spiritual nature. You talk. That's why Pisces, a lot of Pisces over here in the United States got mental issues, got all types of this. Go read Dianetics. L. Ron Hubbard, he was a Pisces. This is why they all crazy. This old lady across the street from my house every day walking around making just crazy noise, walking up and down the street, hollering and screaming every 2-3 days. You know what I'm saying? Because the Pisces got this goal line energy and they thinking they see something in some type of invisible, spiritual, fucking Neptunian, invisible fortress that they sitting there playing with. And man, Joe, like, man, I show you my brother a Pisces, Joe. I know Pisces, man. I know hella Pisces. You know what I'm saying? And I know they under this, they sitting there playing with it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they kind of know the ground curse. You know what I'm saying? Like Pisces kind of know this. You know what I'm saying? But they still play, they play around, they play with it. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then, like, whoever jump in that energy, 9 times out of 10, you're gonna be sitting under some Ra's al Ghul, lost, drunk on spiritual, like, you're gonna be drunk. So especially you fuck with a Pisces, you're gonna be drunk. Mind you, like, that's how they'll be sitting there with the bottle or with the liquor. They're gonna be the one to get you addicted to weed. My brother got me addicted to weed. My brother got me drinking. You know what I'm saying? My brother was the most Pisces you ever met in your life. You know what I'm saying? And like, he the one that introduced me to everything that I'm sitting there trying to break right now on the internet in front of all y'all. You know what I'm saying? So like, I know it ain't just me. I know like 15, 16 other people in this exact same situation. So a lot of people thought I jumped on the internet talking shit about Pisces because like a Pisces, the woman broke my heart. It was like, no, like I knew even back then that like something was wrong with the Piscean goal line witchcraft energy that we sitting up under right now. Like, you know what I'm saying? And the only thing that can fix that is understand how Christ came and actually unbroke all of them. But even the Jews don't mess with Christ. They'll tell you that Christ's teachings ain't nothing. Everybody will tell you that Christ's teachings is nothing. Everybody. So it's like, why would you not study that? Like, you know what I'm saying? And they're like, this is literally the thing that breaks the solution of all this relative truths that you're sitting there talking about. Ezekiel will spin at like 126,900 degrees. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna get all 126,900 degrees. You're not gonna get all them degrees. So that's just one wheel, minus 4 different wheels. You know what I'm saying? So cardinal truth is relative truth in regards to Ezekiel's will. Like, you know what I'm saying? Oh, it kind of bounce off here, goes here, goes here, goes here. Like, you gotta literally understand the whole wheel. Like Ezekiel's wheel is based off the fixed elements. Like you're saying, you're talking about Taurus. Go look up Ezekiel's wheel. They tell you it's got the Taurus, it's got the Leo, it's got the Scorpio, and it's got the Aquarius. So I'm saying these are the ones who create the stage for all these other actors and these, you know what I'm saying, these fire signs, the Sagittarius, the Leos, the Aries, the Cancers, the, you know what I'm saying, the Capricorns, the Virgos. You know what I'm saying? The Ezekiel's wheel is based off us, the fixed signs, understanding this information, and y'all moving off of us. Y'all not gonna study this as deep as we is. You see what I'm saying? Y'all not. Y'all here to enjoy and enjoy this cursed ass ground that you walking on, to get drunk, go have a bunch of sex, go have a bunch of unregulated kids, have 2-3 different baby mamas, go right ahead, indulge, get it in. You know what I'm saying? Because meanwhile, like man, go watch the book of Eli. You know what I'm saying? And then he was sitting in the bar. You know what I'm saying? Right in the bar scene. Go watch the bar scene from Book of Eli. He's sitting there minding his business. Dude coming and talking about, man, it was a cat. This cat got more ranking here than you. Hey, man, let me get another drink. Let me get another drink. Yeah, so this cat, boom, he grabbed his head, smack it on the table. So I'm saying, drunk, stumbling. Christ make you stumble. Christ make you realize you kind of drunk. You don't realize you drunk, but Christ come and smack you with the sandal like, Joe, you drunk. Ra and the whore of Babylon walk into a bar and they trying to get drunk. Trust me. That's where they going. That's the only reason you're going to a bar. You know what I'm saying? So you got the planet Earth caught in between Venus and Earth with this love and fear, hate relationship, and she don't understand what the fuck going on. You know what I'm saying? You got all these motherfuckers praying on this earthly ass energy, and ain't nobody trying to save the Earth or save and understand the nature of the Earth apparent to the one who ruling in this age, 2021, which is Jesus Christ. So you want to ignore all this information and go ahead and sit and play with a cursed ground, just like Cain. You know what I'm saying? And try to do things your way, and you're gonna get what is not. Relative truth is not unconditional love. Relative truth is not unconditional truth. Unconditional truth is unconditional truth, which is what this planet is. And if you say, okay, Mars is a war-like energy. Venus is a fucked up love planet where there's a bunch of romance shit going, motherfuckers getting together, breaking up all the time. Neptune is a fantasy planet, and you know, dreams and fantasies and stuff like that. So saying Pluto is a planet, it might say it's a planet, but that's a Scorpio planet. It's like slow rotation, death, you know, the things that's on the surface you don't want to think about, the things that people scared to say. So I'm saying stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? You got Saturn, which is about discipline, shit like that. So I'm saying you got Uranus, which is me, which is fucking crazy, insane, spinning crazy, looking at the shit all from a whole different angle. So you got Jupiter, which is supposed to be the big picture. So I'm saying ruled by Sagittarius, supposed to see everything, the shit you can't see, all that type of shit. Might say fucking Jupiter's in Aquarius right now, whatever. So I'm saying, but what about Earth? What do Earth symbolize? Who rules it? Earth is ruled by Jesus Christ, which means unconditional love. The last thing that your ass is studying. That's what Earth is. That's what you down here playing with. You down here playing with something that has unconditional love for you, and you playing with it. And the ground is cursed. So be careful what you wish for, because you talking about my birthday, which is 2/14, which is love, which is like real love. You play with that on this planet, you're going to get what's coming for you. unless you wake up and change your ways. You see what I'm saying? This is what it is. Go watch the book of Eli. When he was in that bar and he smacked his head on the table and he stood up and he watched all the people start approaching him and he already, mind you, he blind. So I'm saying, he already knows it's like, okay, you got to see it how he see it. And like, Joe, this ground is cursed. You see what I'm saying? When you stand on absolute truth, you gonna get this type of situation. The ground is cursed, especially with a bunch of golem, Piscean ass energy motherfuckers filled with like 15 different types of cum pit. Like you talking about the water? Go look in the water. Go in the ocean. What you think is in the ocean? What do you think all this shit, piss, cum, like the shit motherfuckers are talking about? Flight Boss talking about on his video after he sat there and watched my video. You know what I'm saying? That shit, piss, cum, mucus, shit. You know what I'm saying? Vomit. All that shit is in the water too. You know what I'm saying? That shit ain't just cleaning itself out. So I'm saying, you turn around and drink that shit. So I'm saying, you think you buying bottled water and all that type of shit, thinking that you avoiding the damn toxins that's in the goddamn water. Like, please, ain't no way around that shit. That shit been here for millions of years. That shit is in you. You know what I'm saying? That's what the fuck. When you ain't getting past that, this ground is cursed. This ground is cursed. You see what I'm saying? So the only thing that's gonna get you out of that is understanding how Jesus Christ fulfilled all of these prophecies. You know what I'm saying? Until then, go ahead and keep playing, because be careful what you wish for, because you might just get it. My name is K-Blao Hood X, and the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God.